2019 NBA champions, the Toronto Raptors.
Look at this floor.
For all the fans from Toronto, everywhere in Canada, this is for you, and you deserve it. Yes. Let's go! Let's go, Raptors!
Well, we made it. It is official. Our Toronto Raptors are champions. Fans didn't waste any time taking their celebrations to the streets last night, toasting the Kings of the North. And Toronto is still savoring that victory that was 24 years in the making. Farah Morali joined us live from just outside Scotiabank Arena. Now, Farah, you were in the thick of that last night for several hours, in fact. This is just unprecedented for our city.
Yeah, Mike, it really is. I can tell you, I was out on the streets from about 8 or 9 at night, straight through till about 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I watched fans take in the emotion of this entire game, and just as that buzzer went off last night and this sea of fans kind of poured out onto the streets, it was unlike anything I'd ever seen. The atmosphere, the electricity. One thing that really stuck out to me were sort of the two types of fans you saw. The fans, of course, that you see on TV, the ones that were cheering, the ones that were yelling, the ones that were hugging strangers, and then the people who were just frozen, the people frozen in disbelief that this had actually happened, that the Raptors had won the NBA championships. Now, this buzz is still alive very much today, especially at places like this, where this mural has been painted outside the MLSE building. People have been stopping here to take photos all throughout the day. We don't yet know if it's going to be permanent, but one thing that will be the memories that were cemented last night in the celebrations that rocked the city.
They were dancing in the streets, on the traffic poles, and even on trucks. Last night, Toronto came alive to celebrate a victory it's never tasted.
Your 2019 NBA champions, the Toronto Raptors.
What was going through your head when that buzzer went off?
It's just emotions. I couldn't contain my emotion. The last 2 minutes, it was crazy. It was crazy, but we got it. We've been waiting for this forever. 24 years. It's been amazing.
Today, the city woke up with a hangover of sorts. This morning, crews worked to pick up the pieces from the all-night celebration. Toronto police said today the worst things they dealt with last night were vandalism incidents. A couple of police cars were damaged, so were some buses. But all in all, the damage was minimal, considering the crowds.
Oh, I gotta get one of these hats. Like, look at it. We're the champions. We're Toronto. I can't believe it. I'm still in shock.
The celebration continued into the shops this morning. Everyone lined up to get their hands on this championship merch.
Buy stuff for my father for Father's Day.
Getting some hats.
Others, it seemed, spent the morning celebrating at the now infamous Raptors mural on Queen Street West. It got a mystery makeover in the wee hours after the victory.
Yeah, it's pretty good, pretty quick. There's multiple ones all over the city too, right? So it's really nice.
It drew plenty of attention today, and not just from diehard fans.
It's so liberating to come over here, and you can see, like, in such a city, in a mass of people as this, to show like the overwhelming support for a team and for them to put it off.
Now, Mike, we don't know when that mural went up last night or when this mural went up. All we know is that people started coming into work today, and this was suddenly here. We're also getting word that there are a number of other murals that have been popping out throughout the city, and I'm sure that's going to be the case, continue to be the case, at least until celebrations erupt on Monday.
A nice surprise to celebrate what happened last night. Thanks a lot, Farah.
It's a celebration today in this grade 2 classroom. Wait, guys, who watched the game last night? Wait. How did you feel when the Raptors won? I'm telling you that Heather Heights Public School, coming up, I'll take you along for the ride. This class will be celebrating, partying all day.
We did it, baby!
Oh, champagne showers galore in Oakland last night with the Raps. Even our Greg Ross, other reporters there getting in on the action. Families of the players also made their way into the locker room to celebrate, including Kawhi's sister.
I'm very excited because my brother worked so hard along with his teammates. I'm excited for the city, the country, and everything. I appreciate everything. I'm so excited. Words can't even express.
He's the MVP, the two-time Finals MVP.
You know, he works hard. And as a child,
for the Raptors because they deserve it.
What was he like? What was he like as a child? You were just about to say.
This is my mom right here.
Oh, wow.
So she knows more. However, he was humble. He was his work at every single day. He went out on our basketball court and shot and shot and shot.
And I do that now.
Hey, can I say this?
Yeah.
I have it on tape. I said you are going to be the next NBA player or NFL player because he played both. But his passion was basketball. And he did that. And I'm so happy for him right now, and along with the rest of the Toronto Raptors. Toronto, you guys are the greatest fans.
There are thousands of them on the streets right now celebrating.
No, oh my God. I have so many texts and so many messages on my Instagram and the fan page that I run, which is Kawhi Leonard official fan page. They follow me and they send me so many messages on my page.
Do you know about Kawhi and Dine?
I heard. Oh my God, it's so much going on. You know what? I love the city of Toronto.
You should get in on some of that. I bet you they would offer you whatever you want too.
I bet they will.
You need to talk your brother into re-signing. You'll get whatever you want.
I bet. But you know what? I'm happy and he's happy at the end of the day. Go Raptors, go.
Well, you heard Greg talking about the tens of thousands who were on the streets last night. Well, that number could easily be topped on Monday. That's when the Raptors' victory parade will wind its way through the city. Our Ali Chasson is live tonight at Nathan Phillips Square. Ali, that's where the rally was going to wrap up eventually.
That's right, and get this, you know when we usually have these celebrations in Nathan Phillips Square? That's the stage that we use, but it's not going to be big enough for this rally, so they're going to be constructing a whole new gigantic stage right in front of City Hall. Now that just speaks to how huge of a moment this is for the city.
Let's go Raptors! Let's go Raptors! Let's go Raptors!
The party don't stop. Yeah, so you're just walking around today, just
I mean, I just finished work, had a meeting, and walking back to work, and then, yeah, we're all good, but I appreciate it. I want to thank the guys for everything they've done.
Is that leftover from last night?
Yeah, but I showered, so it's...
People are still coming down after last night's unofficial parade, shall we call it.
We climbed stuff, like I climbed stuff, like it's just like a burst of energy. You don't really know what to do with it.
If that scene was any indication, Monday's official parade is going to be huge.
Other cities who have had these celebrations have had, you know, well over 1 million people. So it's a long parade route.
Starting at 10 a.m. at the Prince's Gates, the Toronto Raptors will travel in open-air double-decker buses, flaunting their shiny new Larry O'Brien trophy along Lakeshore, then north on York Street to University Avenue, ending at Nathan Phillips Square for the party starting at 12:30.
And so there's a lot of moving parts, and we're draining the reflecting pool right now, and then we'll cover it so we can get more people on the square.
Since the city has pulled off the Jurassic Park celebrations throughout the final, Ross says the city just scales up from there.
Our focus throughout the playoffs, and particularly into the finals and the semifinals, was, in advance of the next game, and making sure that at that game that we had all the right supports in place and that we had all the right staffing in place.
In 1963, it's the Toronto Maple Leafs.
We may not win world championships very often, but when we do, we show up and show out. From way back when the Leafs won the Stanley Cup 3 times in the 60s. Here's us in 1993 high-fiving the Blue Jays after winning the World Series. So this parade is long overdue.
I actually had Game 7 tickets, and I was like, you know what, just wrap it up. I don't care for the tickets.
I am from South Carolina.
You guys Raptors fans now?
Yes, the energy, being Jurassic Park, woo!
Drake, I would have loved to been here to see you at that parade, really. But unfortunately, I'm flying out.
And all eyes are going to be on us for the parade on Monday. What do you hope people watching from around the world or in America see?
Not to take away that amazing country that Canada is. We've come together as a country. We worked really hard for the last 23, 24 years. We haven't had anything. We're coming together as a country, and we're going to celebrate.
So heads up, everybody, it's going to be the same drill as in the Jurassic Park days. You can expect major road closures to allow for this parade. So the advice from the city is to plan ahead and take public transit to the party downtown. I'll send it back to you.
If you are going to work, do not drive to work on Monday. Take transit. Thank you, Allie. And we will have special live coverage of the Raptors victory parade right here on CBC television. That'll be hosted by Dwight Drummond and Adrian Arsenault. We'll bring you the sights and sounds of the celebrations as the NBA champions, still getting used to saying that, they wind their way through the streets of Toronto. It starts Monday at 10 a.m. and runs until 2 p.m. Well, there were many memorable moments both in and out of that locker room last night after the big win, including some dancing. Take a look at some more footage of a couple of our favorite Raps busting a move.
These guys refuse to say, oh, no, not again.
They look prepared.
What a scene that is.
I mean, they look prepared.
Hey, we got emotion out of Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, hey, for the first time, all you got to do is win a championship.
You know, Nick, they say you should dance like no one's watching. That's pretty hard for Ibaka to do when he has 970,000 Instagram followers.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, and add to that, of course, all the television networks that are showing it as well.
Repeating that as well.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, well-deserved anyway. Awesome game. Just awesome game to watch. Getting into the weather, folks, you can blast right into it. We hit 23 degrees today. That was pretty close to seasonal. Nice to see the sunshine out as well. You know, if you're out there still celebrating this morning. 21 degrees right now as we move through tonight. We're looking at a little bit in the way of cloud cover rolling in. There is a system that's just pushing in from the north. Now, this is going to bring rain north of the city. If you're headed north of the city this evening, or if you live there, expect to see rain showers starting in the next hour or so. However, for the GTA, few spotty showers through the late evening into the overnight hours, but most of this is actually going to track north and east of us. In long-range forecasts, though, through the next 24 to 36 hours, we actually are looking at more in the way of spotty showers for tomorrow morning and then into tomorrow afternoon as well. And that could bring with it about 5 to 10 millimeters of rain for tomorrow. 15 degrees tonight, 21 degrees tomorrow, still pretty gusty, but we've got your Father's Day forecast and the forecast for Monday when we celebrate the Raps. Full details coming up in a bit.
Okay, thanks a lot, Nick.
You bet.
Well, so many incredible moments thanks to the Raptors. And here's one more from the post-game press conference. Fred VanVleet, who had a big fourth quarter, was taking questions from reporters, and that's when a special guest popped up to take a turn.
Kyle Lowry, Toronto Raptors. Fred, how does it feel to be a world champion?
It's unbelievable, man. It's unbelievable to have guys like Kyle Lowry on your team who step up and go for 15 in the first quarter, you know, but he should have had 50. But, you know, he slowed down, so I just want to come out there in the second half and bail him out and try to help him for his legacy. You know, they kill my man all the time in the playoffs. He gets more slander than everybody I ever seen in the league. And so to have him be able to hold that trophy up tonight, that's what means the most for us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Fred.
Didn't really care at the level I was coaching at. I was just trying to learn and get better. I would hope it inspires some people that are in those situations to keep working. You know, I always say that all those jobs meant the world to me at the time.
Well, from rural Iowa to winning Canada's first NBA championship, Nick Nurse has seen it all. He's coached 2 teams in the British Basketball League to big wins, 2 teams to victory in the NBA's G League, and now he becomes one of the few coaches in NBA history to reach the top of the mountain in his first season. Brandon Hurley is a reporter from Carroll, Iowa. That is the hometown of Raptors head coach Nick Nurse. He made the 14-hour drive to Toronto to cover the series starting in Game 5, and now he's on his way back, and he thankfully is pulled over to talk with us now about Nick Nurse and what a championship means, not just for his hometown, but for the state of Iowa. So, Brandon, you were down in Jurassic Park watching the game last night. What was it like for you to be in the middle of it all?
It was pretty unreal. It was such a wild scene last night. It was a lot of roller coaster of emotions throughout the game. Thankfully, it was a good game for me, but maybe not so much for other people. That that wave of anxiety. But once the even the final buzzer sounded, it just broke into pandemonium, and there was fireworks everywhere. Red smoke bombs going off, just constant Raptors cheers, flags everywhere, Raptors jerseys just full everywhere, wall to wall. It was just an electric atmosphere.
Now, I've read a number of your stories. You call yourself the Nick Nurse beat reporter. What's the local appeal of covering the Raptors and its head coach?
It's a unique, usual, and rare story. Just being Iowa doesn't have an NBA team. Heck, they don't have a professional team. So when an opportunity like this arises in a town the size of Carroll, it's a story that we have to attack just full bore, because we never probably will run into a situation like this before again, let alone cover a team that wins an NBA championship. So
well, how big is Carroll?
A huge 10,000 people. So I heard that in the first game of the year this year when I was watching it. You could fit Carroll twice in a Scotiabank Arena. So I thought that was pretty funny.
Now, were people there jumping on the Raptors bandwagon once they made it to the finals?
It took about until they made the finals for everybody to just go completely bananas. They started to share their own Nick Nurse stories and how they interacted with him, or they taught him, or they were a teammate of his, and it just went crazy from there. And now I imagine the town's going pretty nuts. So.
Yeah, this is his first year, as you say, coaching and that as well. What do you think this moment is meaning for him when he goes back and talks to those friends in the town?
Just taking a guess, I think it probably means it validates everything he's done in his career, every step that he's taken, every random job over in England, every summer league job in Oklahoma that he took, every player that he turned in, trouble player that turned into a star, every new offense, every new defense, all that finally means something, and he has one of the best things in sports to show, an NBA trophy that he can take home to Carroll, and it's unbelievable.
Okay, well, I know you have a big drive ahead of you. We appreciate you taking the time over to talk to us. Good luck, and thanks for talking to us again. Brendan Hurley, reporter from Carroll, Iowa, covering Nick Nurse during this series.
Thank you so much for having me, Mike. It was a pleasure.
Their team fought right till the end, and now they are the champions. This was the scene in Jurassic Park last night, shortly after the win, full of cheer, happy tears, and a lot of chanting and singing. We'll have more on the Raptors coming up, but first, this story.
If we didn't have to put these plastic bottles into recycling bins, we could actually be saving millions of dollars every year if only Ontario had a bottle refund program. I'll have that story coming right up.
The weather update is brought to you by Train Extreme Conditions Testing. It's hard to stop a train, really hard. Train, the most reliable heating and cooling brand.
A new report says tons of waste could be diverted from Ontario landfills if the province adopted a return deposit system for non-alcoholic drink containers like water bottles. As Lisa Shing tells us, environmentalists say this kind of change is badly needed.
Many of Rebecca Jane Houston's art installations focus on plastics, including this one at Ripley's Aquarium. She's collected sand from a nearby beach for her next exhibit at a gallery next month to make a point about waste.
It's excessive, obviously, and we're becoming overwhelmed.
The goal of the project is for people to pick out the hundreds of pieces of plastic and return the clean sand to the beach.
Can we get this sand clean enough to return it to the beach? So that we do feel that we have done something positive. We have literally done cleaning. But also it's the conversations that we would have about how to act as a society.
That's also the message in a report from an organization that looks for better ways to recycle. It states Ontario would divert more than 100,000 tons of waste from landfills and save $12 million each year if there's a bottle return program in place, similar to the one the beer store runs. It also highlights putting the onus on plastic producers to run recycling programs. The report's author says the traditional blue bin method doesn't work well.
It hasn't achieved the targets that we were hoping it would achieve. So we need to rethink the system. We need to make the existing system better.
Ontario is only one of 2 provinces in all of Canada that doesn't have a bottle deposit return program. With that said, we only end up recycling 45% of the bottles we buy. Environmentalists say change is long overdue.
They give an incentive to the consumer to bring their container back. Deposit systems also create higher quality recycling.
The province is right in the middle of overhauling the recycling system, including looking at these specific changes. Lisa Shing, CBC News, Toronto.
The Ontario government announcing a $325,000 investment in Jake's House today. The Etobicoke charity runs a mentoring program for children with autism.
We're making the inclusion of children and youth with autism in our society the norm, rather than the exception.
The mentoring program matches children with autism with a volunteer, and they spend months together building social skills and relationships. Now, many volunteers come from university and high school hockey teams, which explains the backdrop for today's announcement, the Hockey Hall of Fame. It's been a rocky few months for autism programs. After public backlash to planned funding cuts in March, the province announced it would create a special panel to consult on service changes. It's expected to deliver its findings this summer. And Canadians will be able to legally consume a new range of cannabis products beginning in December. Health Canada releasing a list of final regulations today. A range of previously banned products will be available, including edibles, such as baked goods, candy, and cannabis extracts, as well as topicals like ointments, creams, and even makeup. The government will have strict rules on packaging to prevent companies from making the products look attractive to children. Cannabis products containing alcohol, nicotine, or caffeine will be prohibited.
The 6 in the 6. Sounds kind of poetic, right? I'm Natalie Nanowski. What does the Raptors winning the NBA Finals mean for Toronto? Does it change the world's opinion of us? I'll have that story coming up.
Well, you could call it Jurassic Square, at least for one night. These are Raptor fans living it up in New York, painting Times Square red and black and spreading We the North south of the border. And people around the world were watching the finals and how the Six celebrated after last night's win. So with all the exposure, will that help boost tourism to Toronto? Natalie Nanowski is looking into that part of the story tonight.
Raising that trophy was 24 years in the making, and the world watched as we celebrated. One of the biggest moments in this city's history. The passion, contagious. Even Oprah's feeling it.
Raptors won. Toronto's gone crazy. I'm headed to, oh, Canada. Can't wait to see you.
Steph Curry wasn't thrilled, but called Drake to congratulate him.
Enjoy it, man. It's big time for you, the whole city, the whole everybody. Y'all deserve it, man.
This was the moment Drake has been waiting for.
You see what my hat says, not finals, not Eastern Conference, not nice try, or see you next year, champions.
The win made headlines across the globe, many commenting about how we politely partied in the streets.
Those are some pretty good things that the world is saying about us, but let's find out what people on the ground think. What do tourists think of Toronto? Let's go. Hey guys, are you from Toronto at all? No, we're from Florida. You guys are from Florida?
Yeah.
What did you guys know about the city before you came?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Just the Raptors and
Raptors. Yeah, pretty much.
Sour.
In the middle of the night, I kept hearing a little whisper go at something about, let's go Raptors, let's go Raptors.
How has your opinion changed then?
I would consider moving here. Yeah.
Whoa!
I would consider moving here. Yeah, the weather, the people, everything has been, quite enjoyable.
At Tourism Toronto, are you going to now use the NBA and the Raptors in your promotions?
The whole NBA experience has been a part of our promotion for a long time because it shows Toronto so well. It shows kind of the energy of the fans. It's a very diverse fan base, which again puts the best of Toronto on display.
During the NBA Finals, there was a tourism boom in the city.
You've had media here from China and Spain and Brazil, and so it plays back Toronto and the best of Toronto into markets that are very important for us, where we're seeing a lot of tourism growth.
And that growth is expected to continue as the city relishes its championship win. Natalie Nanowski, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, we've been hearing from fans in Toronto, across Canada, and around the world. And in Oakland, Greg Ross caught up with two Canadians who were there and got to be the voice of the NBA Finals in Punjabi.
Well, here's two guys that got to call this NBA championship game in Punjabi to Canadians. Parminder and Preet, how exciting was this one for you guys?
You know what, they told us, I don't know if you can tell, my voice is totally gone. They told us to be neutral because we work for the NBA now. We got Punjabi Warrior fans, Punjabi Raptors fans, but our Toronto, our Canada just came right through because this was amazing, surreal, and winning a championship. And for us to have the opportunity to call it, and I think our fathers are probably crying back home because any immigrant who had just that one dream of seeing their kids do something, to have a better, brighter future, but to be given this opportunity, and we look back and say, listen, regardless of whatever, it's because we're Canadians that we got this opportunity to call the game in 200 different countries in Punjabi, right across the world. And guess what? The Raptors won.
Wow, that really is incredible. And I didn't realize it was 200 countries that are getting that broadcast. Talk about your emotion right now, I mean, after witnessing that.
To be honest, when the final buzzer blew, we just lost it. We just went ecstatic. And the city of Toronto, since '93, we've been starving for a championship. And now the Raptors, NBA final champions. And the first time ever, the NBA trophy is coming to Canada.
Well, you guys know there are thousands and thousands of those fans shutting down the streets of downtown Toronto. What do you want to say to those fans? A lot of them are your fans who watch your Punjabi broadcast.
Listen, first of all, be safe, guys. This is a time to truly rejoice in this hard efforts by the Toronto Raptors, and I think we're so happy, and I'm sure they're happy. We were hoping to be in Toronto to call if they were to win, but to everyone back home, guys, huge congratulations. This is so amazing, and we'll see everyone at the parade. I think this is nuts.
By the way, here I am soaked in champagne from being in the locker room. You guys are completely dry. Why were you not in the locker room for that celebration?
let's just say it was a game time decision. We decided not to go into the locker room because guess what? We wear turbans, and there was no way we were going to walk around smelling like that.
Well, a developing story tonight related to last night's game. A sheriff's department in California is recommending that Masai Ujiri be charged with battery. That's similar to an assault charge here in Canada. It's all after an incident between the Raps president and a police officer. The Alameda County Sheriff's Office says Ujiri assaulted a deputy. Some of what happened was caught on video. The Sheriff's Office says Ujiri was asked for his credentials as he tried to make his way onto the court for the trophy presentation. They claim Ujiri didn't have them and then pushed the deputy. At one point, Ujiri's arm allegedly struck the officer. Now, videos on social media, though, show Ujiri holding what appears to be his credentials both before and during the incident, leaving some to ask why he was stopped. Ujiri eventually joined the celebrations on the court. A Raptors spokesperson says the team is cooperating with authorities. A man was shot and seriously hurt last night, just steps away from where crowds had gathered to celebrate the Raptors' win. The shooting took place around 4 a.m. near Yonge Dundas Square. Investigators say they received a call about an altercation and the sound of gunshots. The victim is said to have received a serious to potentially life-threatening injury. 7 people were taken into custody, and police say they also found a gun. And police are asking for the public's help tonight as they search for 2 men wanted for a sex assault on a 15-year-old girl in the Dufferin and Lawrence area this week.
A 15-year-old girl was walking on Wednesday, June the 12th, in the area of Dufferin Street and Dan Street. She was swarmed by 2 men at around 1 o'clock in the morning. One man dragged her into a secluded area, at which point the other man then attempted to the man actually sexually assaulted her. A passerby noticed what was happening, made some screams and pleas for help, and that caused the 2 men to flee the area.
Now, police issuing descriptions of the men they're looking for. The first suspect is described as having a light complexion, 30 to 33 years old, about 5'5" to 5'6" inches tall. He has short, dark hair with the sides shaved. He was wearing a black, long-sleeved hooded sweatshirt and black pants with rips in the knees. Now, the second suspect is described as white, about 20 to 25 years old, between 5'7" and 5'8". He has blonde hair with a slight mustache and was wearing a dark, long-sleeved hooded sweatshirt, beige pants, and black boots.
We're in an auto shop, but these high school students are working on bikes. I'm Talia Ricci, and coming up, we'll show you how these students are using their skills to give back to a First Nation community.
Nick Sarnkovich is back with his extended look at the forecast. So much to look forward to this weekend. Father's Day, I got to break out the barbecue as well. And of course, we got the big parade on Monday.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm doing my best to kind of keep the rain away, Mike. We do have a little bit in the way of rain showers to deal with, especially for Sunday, but we'll talk about that because I think that it's actually going to push a little bit further to the south of the GTA, meaning for the most part, dry weather for Sunday and Monday as well. Tomorrow, though, different story. Now, let's talk temperatures first. Right now, we're sitting at 21 degrees. We did, however, hit 23 degrees earlier today. We're watching one part, the sort of leading edge of this system sweep across. Now, if you live to the north of the city or you are headed up that way, you can expect to see rain showers over the next hour, depending on where you are. And this is going to bring a fairly heavy amount of rainfall out toward the Perry Sound, Muskoka area. It could be about 25, 30 millimeters rain, if not more. But for the GTA, just sort of getting skimmed by this. May see a few spotty showers along the north end through the later evening hours tonight, but it's really through the overnight where we'll see some spotty showers tomorrow morning. Bit of a dry period, and then we've got some light showers that will develop through the morning. Now into the afternoon, we'll get sort of a break in this. And after about 2 to 4 p.m., we're watching this line that's going to slide through the GTA. That's going to bring with it about 5 to 10 millimeters of rainfall. For Sunday, this model not picking it up, but as I look at some of the forecast models coming out, the later one's actually pushing the rain further to the south. So while this one actually shows the rainfall moving through on Sunday, there's a chance we're actually going to get away with maybe just a few spotty showers, if nothing at all. Now, Monday, As we push forward into Monday morning, it looks like no rainfall in the forecast and just a mix of sun and cloud. As I mentioned, about 5 to 10 millimeters of rain in the forecast, but heavier rainfall further north of the GTA. For tonight, a few spotty showers across the region, and then tomorrow we're up to a high of 21 degrees once again for the GTA. That comes with some breezy conditions as well, about 30 to 50 kilometers per hour in terms of the winds and those afternoon showers. The risk of a few showers in there, but I'm hoping those are going to push south, and then dry weather as we move through next week. Mike.
Okay, thanks, Nick.
You bet.
Now, the Raptors' win wouldn't be the same without superfan Nav Bhatia there. Greg Ross caught up with him in Oakland just after the Raptors were crowned the NBA champs.
Look at this NBA championship.
Turban ribbon.
Where did you get that turban ribbon?
Somebody made it for me, couple of them, and said when you win it, you got to put that on.
You had to hide those, though, because you don't want to jinx it.
No. I waited till it was over, and then only I put it on because I cannot wear the cap over my turban. So I had to wear this to show the world that we are the NBA champion. This is going to go all over the world with the Sikh community everywhere who are, and they're going to love it.
I have to tell you, this is a man that can't walk down the streets of Oakland because he is so famous. It was incredible watching fans from both the Golden State Warriors and the Raptors stop you every step you take, it seems. And you love it. You soak it all in.
I love it because that's what I want to do. I want to bring the people together of all colors, faith, and everywhere together through this beautiful game of basketball.
A group of students at St. Elizabeth Catholic High School are forming lifelong friendships with kids in Attawapiskat. They're part of a program started back in 2016 after the First Nation declared a state of emergency. They were overwhelmed by the number of attempted suicides in that community, so students from the Thornhill School have now visited 8 times, delivering programs like sports, dance, and music. Talia Ricci tells us about their next trip.
This isn't your average high school transportation course. Between fixing car engines and changing tires, students are also tuning up dozens of kids' bikes.
When we went up to the reserve, because I've been there twice, the kids tend to get around on bikes a lot, especially in the warmer months, like in the summer. So we figured it'd be nice because a lot of their equipment is unfortunately run down.
Delia DeGuano is leading the program alongside her teacher. In a couple of weeks, the bikes will be loaded up on a plane and sent to Attawapiskat.
The kids tend to be a little bit closed off when we first go up there, but by the end of the trips and by the end of the 2 weeks that I've been there, we become best friends.
I think it's useful for us because we get to learn how to use the tools, be more hands-on, and honestly just disassemble and reassemble the bikes for them so that we can ship them, and that, yeah, it's a hands-on learning experience.
So this is how the bikes are going to be shipped. The handlebars and the tires will be off, and each kid will get a set of written instructions, some tools, and a little bit of help, of course. The hope is that they get more out of this than just a free bike.
Delia and myself decided it'd be really important for the life skills of using tools and problem solving and learning how to service possibly what we call a transportation vehicle. This really stays close to our heart. Anybody who goes to Hattaway-Pescat in this group always talks about how it's been life-changing.
Especially for DeGuano, who is so impacted by these trips, she's pursuing Indigenous studies when she heads to university next year.
Every kid that I meet on the reserve has a special place in my heart. They're not just a big group of kids. I know every single kid individually. We learn their names, we learn something about them, we learn something about their family.
Talia Ricci, CBC News, Toronto.
What a great initiative. Well, it's been a monumental week in our city, but the Raptors' remarkable run to the top didn't just captivate Toronto, it captured the hearts of Canadians right across the country. Here's a look at how the country cheered the victory.
I lost my voice. I can't believe it. It actually happened. We won! We won!
Oh, it's crazy, man. Like, we waited 24 years for this. Come on, 24 years, and we invented the game. We invented the sport.
My Toronto friends, my Toronto brothers. I'm proud of Canada. This is huge.
For every young kid who aspires to be basketball players or future pro, this is what it is.
This is the biggest moment in basketball history for Canada, and you know, we all get to enjoy it here in Halifax.
It's nice to see everyone come together, celebrate something.
Across the city, people are still on a Raptors high, including some young fans at a school in Scarborough. Kelda Yoon stopped by their celebration party today.
The afternoon began with song celebrating champions. Champion, champion. Inside Amelia Maharaja's grade 2 class at Heather Heights Public School, it's an all-day party.
Did you guys all watch the game last night? Yeah! Wasn't it past your bedtime?
Yeah! Now they can say they witnessed history.
I thought they were going to lose, so I was like, I went to the kitchen to get some ice cream. But when I came back, they actually won. Like, I put the ice cream back in the fridge, and I grabbed a pillow and I screamed in it. When they won, I was like running around and screaming.
Oh my goodness, are you tired today?
No.
The party included designing their own Raptors jersey and learning about the history of basketball.
You know, it's really important to know that basketball was founded by a Canadian, and I want my students to know that. I also want them to know that this is history.
And by the sounds of it, they know. They weren't the only ones celebrating. These kids at Church Street Public School were also pretty psyched.
Normal. Okay, can you guys show me your reaction when their Raptors won?
I like it. Even though most couldn't stay up to watch the big win.
Did you watch the game last night?
Yeah.
You watched the whole game?
Half of it.
Half of it, and then what happened? Did you go to bed?
I got tired.
Now you may remember this video where they gave the team some pointers.
Don't forget to drink water.
That's why they won, right?
Pointers that would have been helpful not just for the team, but for fans watching last night. And before I left, they had just one message for the Raptors.
Good luck next year!
Kelda Yoon, CBC News, Toronto.
Messiah Jiri was back home in time for another celebration today. His daughter's graduation from kindergarten. It's been a whirlwind 24 hours for the Raptors president, but he did get a few moments to enjoy the win in Oakland. Here he is after the Larry O'Brien Trophy presentation last night.
We've been growing and trying to prove to the world that there's a meaning to having an NBA team, one NBA team outside the U.S. And all these guys, these players, they've been unbelievable. To our coaches, to our ownership, and much respect to the Golden State Warriors and to Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson. We love you as NBA players, but we wanted to win in Toronto, and we won in Toronto.
Well, it's been a day Raptors fans will be celebrating, but it's been a long time coming. Let's take a look back at how Raptors fever spread across Toronto and Canada.
It's a risky trade. If they give up DeMar DeRozan and after a year they don't have Kawhi Leonard, everyone's going to say this wasn't the best move for this team.
You can't continue doing the same thing over and over again, and when you get a chance to get a top 5 player, I think you have to jump on it.
People are saying online that Kawhi Leonard may not want to even be here and may actually try to sit out the season.
You know what? It's a matter of the weather in Toronto. If it's too cold, Kawhi Leonard's going to hate it. He's not going to play.
But I think he wants to be here, and I think it'll be proven on the court.
You know, people have to see that he can play.
I love you, Kawhi. Thank you. I love the Raptors. Yes, Kawhi's back. Kawhi's back.
You better be ready, boy. MVP on the way.
That is by far the biggest shot in Raptors franchise history.
For just the second time, the Toronto Raptors are into the Eastern Conference Finals.
He's the king of the city right now.
He's our guy. Like, what he brought for Toronto is huge.
Regardless of the weather, Toronto's Jurassic Park will likely be filling up early. The square has become an emotional epicenter during the team's biggest moments.
How long did you wait to be right at the front?
2 hours, man. I didn't even get to pee.
Some people here came prepared.
We are done. What? We are done.
I've been through the losses. I've been through the wins. You know, there are tough times, there are great times, but, you know, that's how it is.
being outside in Jurassic Park is the best place, like with all the people and the energy and camaraderie.
I've never seen the buzz in a city like this.
This isn't the only Canadian city getting ready to celebrate.
There's a lot of love here in British Columbia for the Raptors.
And this is where the Saskatchewan Roughriders usually play, but tonight it's Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park East, Jurassic Park Halifax.
The way this city and this country have come together over this is amazing.
Can you believe that this is a road game? We've got our own Jurassic Park here.
To me, basketball is something which can unite us together. For 48 minutes, we are going to be competing, but before the game and after the game, we are brothers and we are all together in that.
How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling like a champ, baby. I'm a champ now, man.
Give them a shout out. Give those fans a shout out right now as we get showered with champagne.
Hey, man. Hey, shout out to Toronto. Shout out to the city. Man, shout out to Canada. Shout out to Drake. Shout out to all of them, man. I love the support, man. Keep going, man. We brought a championship home to y'all, man. We did it for you, man. I'm so excited. I'm so proud, man. Let's go.
I'm just really excited right now. Here he goes with the champagne. Yeah, a little bit, man. So we're trying to enjoy it as best we can as a group. So much going on, family, media. But I'm really going to enjoy this one. This one's a special one for sure. And we know we did this not just for us, but for the 36 million that are watching us back home.
Thank you to all the fans in Toronto. We're going to be back to celebrate with you guys, but seriously, what you guys did to carry us through the playoffs, that energy, I don't know if I've ever seen anything like it. Thank you so much, Toronto.
I'm so glad they wrapped it up in 6 games.
Yeah.
Game 7 would have been on Father's Day.
Yes.
Now we can relax. I'm a dad, you're a dad. We don't have to go through the stress of watching.
The stress of it, exactly. And I'll tell you, my wife takes the GO train to work,
Yeah.
and she was saying there's a lot of tired-looking people on there.
Absolutely.
Everywhere you walk and whatever, but hey, It was awesome celebration. Very awesome game. I keep saying that was an awesome game. Weather-wise, maybe not so awesome. We've got a few showers in the forecast for tonight. Not a whole lot to deal with. Really, tomorrow is what we're looking at. So we'll see a little bit of a break in the morning, save for a few spotty showers. And then through the afternoon is where we're watching a line of rain that's going to come through. About 5 to 10 millimeters in the forecast. Now, going forward to Father's Day, as I mentioned, coming off the top there, I think this rain is going to push south. So I'm hoping for less in the way of rain, more or less dry weather. And then Monday looks dry for the parade.
That's the important one. Okay.
Yes.
Thanks a lot, Nick. That's it for our show tonight. Thanks for watching. Talia Ricci will have your next local newscast tonight at 11. We'll leave you with more shots of last night's celebration.